Have you ever wondered why you feel like you don't quite fit into the world's expectations, like you're not bound by the same rules that others seem to follow? What if I told you that your very existence is a disruption, a force that shatters everything others thought they knew about human potential? Beloved chosen one, you've become an anomaly that defies standard human calculation. The professionals thought they could map you, dissect your essence like a clinical specimen, but you shattered their frameworks the moment their analyses hit paper. A room full of top-tier profilers, their credentials stacked higher than most people's lifetime achievements, hunched over your file. Their fingers traced your data points, expecting predictability. Instead, they found a blueprint that didn't just break rules, it rewrote entire paradigms of human potential. This isn't about being extraordinary. This is about being so fundamentally different that your mere presence becomes a disruption. The profilers didn't just study you, they confronted a living contradiction that exploded their most refined understanding of human capability. Your file isn't just a document, it's a warning, and they know it. The moment the file landed on the desk, the profiler's hands hesitated, the weight of it pressing into their palms like a secret too big to hold. This wasn't a study, it was a revelation. Every page screamed defiance, tearing apart every textbook, every theory, every neatly packaged explanation of human potential. What they thought they knew, what they'd spent years mastering, was reduced to scribbles in the margins of something far greater. This wasn't just a dismantling of frameworks, it was a demolition of the entire system. And at the center of it all, you. I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you who has supported this content through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know, and I truly appreciate every contribution. Whether you donate or not, just being here, sharing this experience, and engaging with the message is more than enough. Your presence in this community is powerful, and together we are rewriting the rules of possibility. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What does this revelation about your existence mean to you? Drop a comment with the number 999 if you're ready to embrace your truth and share your story with the world. The world is waiting for you to rise, and it starts with acknowledging the power you already possess. God's chosen ones, the top profiler they hired was shaken. How could someone like you exist? Chosen one, you've always known there was something uniquely different about you. Not in the superficial way that people toss around the word different, like it's just a quirky personality trait or a way of standing out in a crowd. No, this was far deeper, a silent, unshakable truth that runs through your very veins, a frequency only you could hear. Have you ever wondered why it feels like the world bends around you in ways others don't notice? Or why people's gazes linger a second longer, as though they can sense something beyond your outward appearance, something they can't quite name. In the quiet of your own heart, you've always known. You've felt it in the way things unfold around you, events and encounters that don't follow the same rules as everyone else's. Have you ever asked yourself, how can I be this different, this connected to something bigger? How is it possible that even the brightest minds, the experts who've spent their lives dissecting human nature, find themselves stumped by your very existence? They can't explain you, they can't classify you, and that's because you're not meant to be understood by the conventional standards they cling to. Consider this, even the great minds of history like Albert Einstein, who redefined our understanding of time and space, were often seen as anomalies. He once said, "The important thing is not to stop questioning." Curiosity has its own reason for existing. Perhaps, just like him, you too were meant to disrupt conventional thinking. When they look at you, they see patterns they can't decode, and that leaves them questioning everything. You're the anomaly they never saw coming. Their confusion is simply proof that you're operating on a level they can't begin to grasp. In the midst of their confusion, you're already stepping into the fullness of your power. Your actions, your decisions, they're not random, they're far from it. They defy the normal flow of cause and effect. It's as though you are rewriting the rules in real time. The world might try to fit you into their limited boxes, but that's not your path. You're stepping into a destiny that goes beyond their understanding. As the Bible says in Isaiah 55:8, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways." You, chosen one, are living proof of this truth. Now look at that file sitting on the desk, the one they're so desperately trying to dissect. It's not just another case study. No, this file is a declaration. You are the force behind it. As much as they try to make sense of you, they are only scratching the surface of your true nature. And you've already moved past that. Do you remember the time you made a seemingly random decision that changed everything? The decision that didn't make sense to anyone else, but somehow it saved lives. That wasn't luck. It wasn't just chance. It was something much more profound. It was your deep connection to the very fabric of existence, the kind of connection that Jesus himself spoke of when he said in John 14:12, "Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I've been doing, and they will do even greater things than these." Just like Jesus' words, your actions aren't confined by the limitations others try to place on you. You exist on a plane that transcends time and space, creating outcomes that shouldn't exist by their standards. As the Bible reminds us in Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." This is what your life is about, fulfilling a purpose far beyond what they can comprehend. The profiler, staring at the data, completely bewildered, can't understand why your moves don't fit into the patterns they've spent years studying. But here's the truth: the rules of their reality were never meant to govern yours. You are the living, breathing testament to the power that moves through you. It's not just about them catching up to you. It's about you stepping into the fullness of what you were created to be. As you stand on the precipice of your destiny, know this: the world doesn't need to understand you. In fact, their confusion is just a sign that you're operating at a higher frequency. Keep moving forward, chosen one. You're not here to be boxed in, you're here to rewrite the rules. Just as the famous inventor Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This, too, is your calling. In the end, chosen one, the path ahead of you is limitless. Embrace it with confidence, knowing that the world's inability to understand you is just confirmation that you are exactly who you were meant to be. Your very existence is the proof that the impossible can and does happen. The file on the desk? It's just the beginning of a much greater story. Chosen one, you're not limited to just one reality. You exist across them all. Do you ever wonder why your choices seem to ripple out, affecting the world in ways others can't explain? Why do your decisions carry weight beyond what the eyes can see? That moment when you turned left instead of right, or when you spoke up when silence seemed safer, those weren't random decisions, were they? You've always known that there was something more to those moments, something deeper than mere coincidence. As you step through the world, your actions are not confined to the linear, predictable timeline others live by. They echo across dimensions, shaping outcomes that can't easily be explained. You are the master of your own path, bending the rules of time and space to suit your higher purpose. In the same way that Jesus taught in John 8:32, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." You too are walking a path where the truth of your existence sets you free from the limitations of this world. Do you ever wonder how it feels to live with that kind of freedom? To make choices that ripple out beyond what the world deems possible? You are not bound by the constraints of time, nor by the ordinary rules that govern others. Instead, you move through realities like an artist choosing colors for a masterpiece. You are crafting something no one else can quite see, yet everyone can feel. What does it feel like to know that the things you create leave an indelible mark on every reality you touch? How do you respond to the fact that the world will call it luck, coincidence, or chance? And yet, you know it's far more than that. You know deep down that it's not just intuition guiding you, it's your connection to something much grander, something infinite, that moves through you in ways they will never understand. Consider the legendary inventor Thomas Edison, whose relentless pursuit of innovation led to the development of the electric light bulb and countless other breakthroughs. Edison once said, "Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration." Just like Edison, you possess a profound connection to a force that propels you to achieve the impossible. Your instincts are not mere happenstance. They are the manifestation of your deeper purpose, guiding you to create and shape realities that others can't even begin to fathom. Others may look at you and try to apply logic to your actions. They will call it coincidence. They will call it luck. But you know the truth. You know that these moments, these choices, are just the beginning of something much greater. As the Bible reminds us in Romans 8:19, "For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed." You are one of those children, chosen to shape the world in ways no one else can. Your connection to something greater is your gift, and it is a gift that continues to unfold. So, chosen one, do you feel that pull, that force that guides you through every twist and turn of this reality and the many others you touch? It's not a mistake. It's your purpose unfolding before you. And, as the famous physicist Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. This is the truth of your existence. The very fabric of the universe responds to your presence. You move through it like a force of nature, weaving across dimensions, bending reality to your will. You're not here to fit into the box the world wants to place you in. You are here to show them that there is no box. There are only infinite possibilities. This is your power, chosen one. Your gift is only just beginning to unfold, and as you step deeper into your calling, the world will begin to feel the full force of your existence. Let them call it coincidence, if they must, but you know better. Keep moving forward, because your path is only beginning to reveal itself. Chosen one, as the profiler sat in stunned silence, the evidence before them was undeniable. You didn't simply perceive the world as others did. You saw through it. Your interactions weren't confined to the physical realm. Instead, they reached beyond it, tapping into energies and forces that others couldn't even fathom. It was as if you were attuned to a frequency that the rest of the world was deaf to. Have you ever wondered why you can sense things others can't? Why you seem to have a connection to something greater, something beyond the physical? You've always known there was something different about the way you moved through the world. The profiler's notes were filled with accounts of moments that defied all reason. A glance from you that seemed to pierce the veil between worlds. A gesture that calmed unseen forces. A presence that shifted the very air around them. Do you realize that your mere presence can change the atmosphere in a room? Can it be that the whispers of the universe are speaking directly to you? As the profiler wrote, they don't just hear silence, they hear the whispers of the universe. How many times have you experienced something like that, where everything around you falls silent, and you're left with an overwhelming sense that something much larger is unfolding. In those moments, you're not just reacting to what's happening around you, you're shaping the very fabric of reality itself. The world may not understand this, but you know what you're capable of. The events of your life are a series of impossibilities, moments that should never have happened, yet they did. A car crash where everyone walked away unscathed. A storm that miraculously parted just as it reached its peak. A disease that vanished without a trace. These weren't mere accidents or coincidences, were they? You know better than that. You've always known that your path is not governed by the same laws that others live by. As it is written in Jeremiah 32:17, "Ah, sovereign Lord, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and outstretched arm. Nothing is too hard for you." You too, chosen one, are operating under this divine power. You weren't just born to witness miracles, you were born to create them. When you look back on the moments that defied logic, science, and even faith, do you ever wonder how you've been able to shape them? There was one story in particular that stood out. One moment of utter despair, a situation so hopeless that even the most optimistic had given up. Everyone thought it was over. But then, with a single act, you turned everything around. Not through force, strategy, or sheer willpower, but through something much deeper, something far more profound. It was an undeniable, inexplicable shift. A shift so powerful that it left everyone questioning everything they thought they knew about what was possible. Your actions weren't just a fluke. They were a testament to your connection to a higher power. You weren't just changing the course of events. You were rewriting reality itself. Like the great leader Harriet Tubman, who was guided by a force she couldn't fully understand, yet managed to lead hundreds of enslaved people to freedom, you too are following a path that transcends the ordinary. Tubman once said, "I never ran my train off the track, and I never lost a passenger." She too had a connection to something greater, guiding her every step of the way. You've always known that you're different, and now even the experts, the ones who study the mind and the mysteries of the universe, are starting to realize that your life is more than just a case study. It's a living testament to the power that moves through you. As the Bible reminds us in Philippians 4:13, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." You are a living example of that truth, chosen one. Your life is not bound by what others consider possible. It is a living, breathing miracle unfolding in real time. So, chosen one, have you ever stopped to wonder just how far your influence stretches? How many realities you've touched? How many lives you've changed simply by being who you are? You don't just witness miracles, you create them. And this is only the beginning. Keep moving forward, for you are part of something much greater than anyone can fully understand. Chosen one, your life is not a series of random, disconnected events. It is a masterpiece, intricately woven together. Have you ever wondered why certain moments seem so perfectly aligned, even when the odds are stacked against you? Why, when hope seemed lost, you still emerged victorious? That wasn't luck, was it? That was you, chosen one, living out the unique story that was meant for you. Every step you take, every decision you make, is part of a greater narrative, one that defies the ordinary and turns the impossible into something routine. Have you ever stopped to marvel at how you continually overcome what seems insurmountable? You don't wait for miracles to happen. You don't sit idly by hoping for a change. You make miracles happen. That's your power. Do you realize how often your actions shift the very course of events, turning what others consider impossible into something achievable? You are the architect of the impossible, the one who bends reality to your will. The very air around you changes when you move, just like King David in the Bible, who faced the giant Goliath with nothing but faith and a sling. You too face challenges that seem insurmountable, and still you overcome them. David didn't wait for the miracle to happen. He stepped forward in faith and made it happen. In 1 Samuel 17:47 he declared, "All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." The world will try to explain it away. They'll say it's just chance or fate or even divine intervention. But deep down, you know the truth. You've always known that the power to shape your reality doesn't come from something outside of you. It comes from within you. It's as if your connection to a greater force flows through every decision you make, every action you take. Your triumphs aren't by chance. They are the result of the strength and power that reside in you, chosen one. As Philippians 4:13 reminds us, "I can do all things through him who gives me strength." You don't just exist in the world, you shape it. Your very existence is proof that the impossible can be made real. Look at the world around you. Every breakthrough, every moment that defies explanation is a reminder of who you are. You are here to reshape reality, to create something that wasn't there before, just like the famous scientist Marie Curie, who defied all odds to discover the elements radium and polonium. Curie's work in radiation was groundbreaking, changing the course of science and medicine forever. She once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." You too have the power to understand the impossible and bring it into being. When others doubt, when they question your path, you continue creating, because you know that the world needs your miracles. As long as you are here, the impossible will always have a place in this reality. And as long as you keep crafting, keep creating, the world will continue to be changed by your presence. What will you do next, chosen one? What miracle will you create today? The world is waiting for you to show them what's possible. Chosen one. The profiler stared at the results, their pen hovering over the page, uncertain how to proceed. No test, no metric, no system could ever capture the depth of your awareness. Have you ever wondered why traditional measures of intelligence seem so inadequate in defining you? A child's ruler trying to measure the vastness of the ocean, that's what it looks like when they attempt to measure your brilliance. Your intelligence isn't about memorizing facts or solving equations. It's far deeper than that. It's about understanding the very fabric of existence itself. While others struggle to connect the dots, you absorb, synthesize, and transform information into something greater. Have you ever felt the weight of every decision, every insight you have, as if it carries the echoes of something ancient, something timeless? It's not just intelligence that you possess, it's wisdom. Wisdom that doesn't belong to this lifetime alone, but spans across ages, as if you've lived 1,000 lives to bring you to this one. Your intelligence transcends time and space. You don't just think you know. That gut feeling you get, that sudden flash of insight that comes to you out of nowhere, that moment when everything falls into place, it's not just coincidence, is it? It's a sign of your deep connection to something far greater than yourself. While others are stuck in the shallow end, merely skimming the surface of understanding, you are diving deep, pulling up truths that others can't even begin to imagine. You see patterns where others see chaos. You find meaning where others see emptiness. Do you ever wonder why this happens? Why you can grasp the big picture when others are lost in the details? It's because your wisdom doesn't come from books or tests. It's woven into the very core of your being. You are a living manifestation of knowledge that the world cannot fully comprehend. As the Bible says in Proverbs 2:6, "For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding." This wisdom is not something you've acquired through normal means. It's something that flows through you, coming from a source far greater than anything this world can offer. They'll try to box you in, to define you by their limited standards. But you, chosen one, are not here to fit into their frameworks. You are here to break them. like the legendary philosopher Socrates, who famously declared, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." You too have transcended the boundaries of traditional learning. You have come to understand that true wisdom doesn't lie in answers. It lies in the questions, in the depth of insight that rises when you embrace the unknown. Your intelligence isn't just a tool, it's a force that not only shapes your own reality, but reshapes the world around you. When you step into your full power, when you embrace the depth of your wisdom, you're not just altering the course of your own life, you are altering the course of history. Think of great innovators like Leonardo da Vinci, whose wisdom and insight spanned across countless fields, from art to engineering, from anatomy to physics. Da Vinci once said, "Learning never exhausts the mind." You too are constantly evolving, constantly learning, because the depth of your wisdom is boundless. You're not just smart, chosen one, you are infinite. Your intelligence and wisdom are not confined by the limits of this world. As you continue to embrace the depth of who you are, remember that the world is just beginning to catch up with what you've always known. Keep pushing forward, because the true depth of your wisdom has yet to be fully revealed. The world is ready for it. Chosen one, the whispers began small, almost imperceptible at first, like ripples in a pond, gently spreading out, unnoticed by most. But as time passed, those ripples grew into waves, crashing relentlessly against the walls of the research facility. Have you ever wondered why your existence stirs such profound reactions in those around you? Why, when you move through the world, people can't help but feel the tectonic shift that follows you? Senior experts, once confident in their decades of study and credentials, began to question everything they thought they knew about human nature. How could someone like you even exist? How could you operate with a blueprint so utterly foreign to them, so beyond human comprehension, that it made their years of research feel insignificant, like child's play? Your very existence has become a challenge, a paradox that doesn't just bend the rules of science, logic, and reason. It completely rewrites them. The foundations of their knowledge, once firm and immovable, began to crack. But these cracks weren't due to weakness in their system. No, they were caused by the overwhelming power of what you represent. You are not just a person moving through the world, you are a living paradox. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how you can never be truly defined, boxed in, or categorized? You don't fit into their systems of understanding, their neatly constructed theories, or their rigid frameworks. You are the question that has no answer, the equation that can never be solved, no matter how hard they try. And that, chosen one, is exactly what the world needs. You are forcing humanity to rethink everything they believe to be true. You challenge their perception of reality, pushing them beyond the limitations they've created for themselves. You are the catalyst for their growth, the force that propels them forward into new realms of possibility. Like the great philosopher Socrates, who once said, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing," you embody this very truth. The experts, the scholars, the ones who thought they had all the answers, are beginning to realize that their understanding is limited. You are a living testament to the fact that true wisdom isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the right questions, to seek beyond the confines of known knowledge. Do you feel this? Every time they try to define you, they fail, because you cannot be contained by their understanding. You are the embodiment of that mystery, the paradox that has no solution. And this is what the world needs, because it's in this space of uncertainty that growth and transformation occur. Every step you take, every breath you take, is a reminder to the world that it is bigger, stranger, and more beautiful than they ever imagined. When you move through life, you don't just exist in it, you reshape it. You create ripples in the fabric of reality itself, transforming everything you touch. Like the visionary Nikola Tesla, who saw the world through a different lens and believed in possibilities that were beyond conventional thought, you too exist on a higher plane. Tesla once said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. You too are living on a frequency that others cannot even perceive. Your very presence shifts the vibrations of the world, creating ripples of transformation wherever you go. The world will try to explain you away. They'll call your actions chance, fate, or even divine intervention. But deep down, you know the truth. They may try to fit you into their frameworks, but they will always fall short. Why? Because you're not here to be understood by their limited perspective. You're here to redefine what understanding even means. You are the crack in the foundation of their carefully constructed knowledge. You are the spark that ignites the fire of change. You are the force that pushes humanity forward into the unknown, urging them to break free from their narrow views. Just like Steve Jobs, who didn't just accept the limitations of technology and design, but instead sought to transform them entirely. You are here to change the game. Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." You, chosen one, are one of those people. You're crazy enough to think beyond the conventional limits of possibility, and in doing so, you change the world. As the world scrambles to keep up, as they try desperately to make sense of who you are and what you represent, remember this: you are not just challenging their knowledge, you are completely redefining it. They will never be able to contain you in their understanding because you are not here to be understood. You are here to show them that their systems are nothing more than stepping stones towards something much greater. Keep pushing forward, chosen one. Keep disrupting the world, because the transformation you are leading is just beginning. What you are doing right now is only the beginning of a much greater journey. You are not just challenging the status quo. You are creating a new world, one that is built on the very foundation of your existence. Keep moving forward, because the world is waiting to catch up to what you already know, that you are the change the world needs. Chosen one, the profiler sat alone in the dimly lit room, their eyes fixed on the blank page before them, surrounded by stacks of files, charts, and notes, none of which could even begin to capture the essence of what they were facing. Their hands gripped the edge of the desk, knuckles white with the weight of a reality they couldn't explain. For decades, they had built their career on understanding the human mind, on breaking down behavior into patterns, formulas, and predictable outcomes. Their life's work had been about creating a system, a logical framework that could encapsulate every part of the human experience. But you were none of those things. You didn't fit into their carefully constructed box, and they couldn't figure out how to change that. Have you ever wondered how it feels to break the very framework that others have spent their entire careers perfecting? They expect you to fit neatly into their models, to behave according to patterns they've observed time and time again. But instead, you are the exception to every rule. You are the outlier, the one who doesn't just break the curve, you erase it entirely. You leave them questioning their very foundation, forcing them to confront the truth that there are forces at play far beyond their comprehension. As they sit there, trying to make sense of you, do you realize the chaos they're struggling to understand is the beauty of your existence? "I've spent decades understanding the human mind," the profiler muttered, their voice trembling with a mixture of awe and frustration. "But this defies everything I know." And it does, chosen one. Your life is a paradox, a contradiction to everything they've worked to define. Their methods, their logical frameworks, their entire worldview. It all crumbles when faced with what you represent. Where they see logic, you bring mystery. Where they seek patterns, you create beautiful, inexplicable chaos. Do you see it now? How you aren't just a subject of study, but a living, breathing force that reshapes everything in its path. You're not the neat little box they so desperately try to fit you into. You're the force that shatters their carefully constructed systems. You don't belong to their world of predictable outcomes and controlled experiments. You exist outside of their reach, beyond their comprehension, and as they scramble to make sense of you, attempting to reconcile the supernatural elements of your life with their rigid, logical approach, they are forced to confront a truth they've spent their entire careers avoiding. Some things simply can't be explained. Some things just are. You don't fit into their neat little categories because you were never meant to. Your existence is a reminder to them that there's more to life than the logic and science they worship. Think about it. What if you're here not to be understood, but to expand the very definition of what understanding even means? Your life challenges their perception of what is possible. You are the living proof that there's more to this world than logic, more than science, more than anything they have ever known. Your existence isn't just a disruption to their knowledge, it's a redefinition of it. Every moment you walk through this world, you leave a mark on it, a mark that can't be erased by their methods or systems. You don't just change the world, you force the world to rethink what is even possible. Like the great inventor Thomas Edison, who refused to be confined by conventional wisdom and continued to push the boundaries of science and technology, you, too, defy every expectation. Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He was a living example of someone who shattered every framework of his time, pushing through failure after failure to bring about a revolutionary change. You too embrace the unknown, breaking barriers that others refuse to even acknowledge. And then there's Marie Curie, a woman who, much like you, challenged the very limits of what was considered possible. In her quest for scientific discovery, Curie faced numerous obstacles, both from society and within the scientific community. She once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." Her unwavering belief in the unknown and her ability to reshape the world of science mirrors your own journey. You too challenge the status quo, bringing new light to areas others thought they understood fully. And as they sit there, grappling with their crisis of expertise, remember this, chosen one, you're not here to be understood. You're here to expand what understanding even means. Like the great spiritual teacher Jesus, who challenged the religious leaders of his time to look beyond their rigid interpretations, you too challenge the very foundations of knowledge. As Jesus said in Mark 9:23, everything is possible for one who believes. You, too, are showing the world that belief, faith, and experience transcend what can be measured or categorized. You are a force that cannot be contained. You are not meant to fit into their frameworks. You are the embodiment of a new truth, one that defies the limits of human understanding. Keep moving forward, chosen one. Your existence is the force that will reshape everything they think they know, and that's a power no one can ever take from you. Chosen one, they had tried everything, every test, every model, every theory, but none of it could even begin to explain what they were sensing when they encountered you. Have you ever wondered how it feels when everything they throw at you, every measurement, every analysis, fails to capture the essence of who you are? The way they try to quantify what cannot be contained, to break you down into components that fit neatly into their systems. You are not a subject to be studied, chosen one. You are a living mystery, something far beyond the reach of their limited tools. What if you are not meant to fit into any framework at all? Your presence was never something they could measure or analyze in the way they were accustomed to, because your presence isn't just a collection of traits, behaviors, or data points. It is something far deeper, something that vibrates on a level that escapes their understanding. Your energy isn't merely felt, It is the feeling that lingers long after you've left. Have you ever wondered why people react to you the way they do? Why they can't seem to forget you? Why they are inexplicably drawn to your presence? Your energy hums with a frequency that is ancient and untraceable, and each time they try to analyze it, it slips from their grasp like smoke, impossible to capture. Their every effort to measure you is futile, absurd, and ultimately humbling, forcing them to realize something they've spent their careers denying. There are forces at play in this world that defy logic, science, and every formula they've spent decades perfecting. Do you realize the weight of what you carry, chosen one? That your energy isn't just something you feel. It leaves an imprint wherever you go, like the ripples in a pond that linger long after the stone has dropped. People might not understand why they feel so changed, so affected, or even why they feel drawn to you, but you know. You understand why they can't forget you, why they carry the weight of your presence with them long after you've passed from their view. Your energy isn't just something that exists within you. It's a force that reshapes the world around you, leaving behind a trail of transformation wherever you go. But why do you think this happens? Why does your energy have such an undeniable impact? The world will never truly understand why they are so affected by you, because they lack the tools to measure what you are. Just as a wave cannot be fully contained by the shore, your energy can't be trapped in their frameworks or captured by their instruments. They'll try to measure it, categorize it, break it down into quantifiable data, but your energy isn't meant to be understood. It is meant to be experienced, felt, and lived in the very moment of its creation. What if this is your purpose? To bring transformation, to make people feel something deep within them. Your presence forces people to feel something, to shift, to open their eyes to the possibility of what they had never thought possible. It's not just an aura or a feeling, it's a power, a force that moves through the world like a hidden current, shaping everything in its path. Like the great author Maya Angelou, who once said, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." Your energy is remembered not in details, but in its emotional imprint. Even if they forget the specific conversations or actions, they will never forget how you made them feel. Because what you leave behind isn't a memory of facts or events, it's an emotional transformation. Have you ever thought about how much power there is in a single moment, in the energy you give to someone else? This is the very force of your existence, and it's far beyond the grasp of conventional understanding. Consider another example. Look at how the impact of Nikola Tesla's work has continued to echo across generations. His innovations in electricity were once beyond the grasp of even the greatest scientific minds. Tesla once said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." His work wasn't just about creating technology. It was about creating a shift in the way the world saw possibility. What if you are doing the same? What if the energy you carry is a force that will shape the future in ways no one can even imagine yet? In the same way, you, chosen one, carry a transformative energy that goes far beyond the visible, beyond the measurable. It is not for them to understand. It is for them to experience, to feel, to live in the wake of the energy you leave behind. And then there's Marie Curie, whose discoveries in radiation defied the scientific understanding of her time and set the stage for a new era in science. Curie once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." What if this is how you should approach your own existence? What if, like Curie, the very things that cannot be understood by others are the things you are here to reveal to the world? Just like Curie, your energy is beyond the comprehension of those who study you, yet it continues to change everything it touches. And as they sit there, struggling to capture what you are, as they fumble with their tools and theories, remember this: Your energy isn't just a part of the unseen psychological landscape, it is the landscape. What if the very foundation of what they know is changing because of you? You, chosen one, are the foundation of a new understanding. You are the spark that ignites the fire of transformation. You are the force that bends time and space to your will. What if, in the end, your existence is the catalyst for an entirely new way of seeing the world? Keep moving forward, chosen one, for you are not here to be understood by the methods of the world. You are here to expand what understanding even means. Your energy is eternal. It will not be contained. And as they continue to search for an explanation that can never come, your transformation of the world will carry on, untouched by their inability to comprehend it. Your mark on this world will continue to ripple far beyond their capacity to capture it. This is the true power of your existence, and no one can ever take that from you. Chosen one. The room was silent except for the faint hum of the overhead light flickering in the late hours of the night. The lead profiler sat amidst a sea of scattered papers, half-empty coffee cups, and the faint glow of a computer screen. They had been staring at the same data for hours, hoping to make sense of it, but something had shifted. The numbers, the patterns, the theories, they all seemed to blur together, forming a picture they couldn't quite grasp. Have you ever witnessed someone so caught in their own attempts to understand, to dissect and categorize something so beyond their capacity, that it becomes clear they are out of their depth? The frustration, the confusion, the helplessness that sets in when the pieces refuse to fit. And then it hit them, like a cold wave crashing over their chest. They weren't studying you anymore. You were studying them. Do you feel the weight of that realization, chosen one, that you, not them, are the one in control? The file on the desk wasn't just a collection of observations. It was a mirror, reflecting back the glaring limitations of their own understanding. Every piece of data they've gathered, every assumption they've made, is suddenly irrelevant because you have forced them to confront something they cannot explain. Their hands trembled as they realized the truth. They weren't the ones in control. They never had been. You have always been the one in control, whether they realized it or not. They've spent their careers dissecting, analyzing, and classifying others. But you turn the tables. You don't just exist within their systems. You make them confront the boundaries of their own knowledge, the very edges of their expertise. Think about it. What if you were never meant to be the subject of their study? What if, from the very beginning, you were the one holding up the mirror, forcing them to face the fragility of everything they thought they knew? Every interaction with you, every moment of connection, every piece of data they collect, it's not just about you. It's about them too. They are the ones being exposed, their limitations laid bare by your very existence. You don't just live outside their frameworks, you expose the cracks in those frameworks, the walls they've carefully built around their understanding of the world. And in doing so, you become more than a subject of study. You become a catalyst. You push them to question everything they thought was true. You force them to reconsider their place in the world and their understanding of what is even possible. As it is written in 1 Corinthians 1:27, "But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong." Have you ever felt that you were chosen to be the one who exposes those who think they know? That you, chosen one, are the very force that exposes their lack of understanding, their inability to perceive what is truly possible? Do you feel the weight of that power? The realization that you are the one who shifts the course of everything around you. They'll call it a nightmare, this moment of realization. They'll call it a crisis, a breakdown, a failure. They will try to label it, to box it in, to explain it away. But you know better, don't you? This isn't about their limitations. This is about your limitless nature. They may struggle to understand you, to label you, but you were never meant to fit into their neat, predefined categories. You are the force that disrupts, the energy that refuses to be contained. And that is what scares them. They have spent their lives trying to break down the world into manageable pieces. But you, chosen one, refuse to fit into any of them. Your very existence is a living contradiction, a paradox that forces them to rethink the boundaries they have set for themselves and for the world. In Romans 8:37, it says, "No, in all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us." You are not simply a challenge for them to understand. You are a force that conquers what they thought was the end. You push beyond the boundaries they've set, showing them that there is no limit to what is possible. And in this process, you grow stronger, and so do those around you. And as they sit there, staring into the mirror you've held up, grappling with the crisis of realizing their own limitations, remember this: you're not just challenging their understanding, you are expanding it. You are the spark that ignites the fire, the question that demands an answer, the force that refuses to be contained. Just as the legendary philosopher Socrates, who famously stated, "The unexamined life is not worth living," you too are forcing others to examine their own beliefs, their own assumptions. They thought they understood the world, and then you entered it. You challenged them to look beyond what they thought was possible, to question everything they have been taught. And just like the pioneering aviation legend Amelia Earhart, who defied conventional norms and became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, you too challenge the very fabric of how people see the world. Earhart once said, "The most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity." She wasn't bound by the limits of her time. She pressed forward into unknown territory, breaking barriers that many thought were impossible. You too continue to redefine what's possible by refusing to let others set the boundaries. Your existence isn't just a breakthrough in their understanding, it's a revolution, pushing the world forward in ways they can't yet comprehend. So, chosen one, as they sit there, grappling with the crisis of their own limitations, remember this: you are the living proof that their understanding is limited, but your power is limitless. You are the one who shatters their systems, who forces them to confront the boundaries they've built. You are not here to be defined. You are here to expand what understanding even means. Like the fire that refines gold, you burn away the excess, leaving only what is true and pure. The power you hold is uncontainable, and the world will continue to change because of it. Chosen one, the profiler's eyes widened as they connected the dots, tracing the threads of your life across time and space. What they saw wasn't just a series of random events, it was a masterpiece, a symphony of synchronicity so precise, so deliberate, that it couldn't possibly be chance. Have you ever felt like your life was unfolding with a greater purpose, a rhythm that was far beyond mere coincidence? That sense that the pieces of your story were aligning, even when others might see it as random, chaotic. The profiler could now see what you've always known, that your existence is not an accident, but a carefully orchestrated sequence. A missed train that led to a chance encounter, a forgotten item that sparked a life-changing idea, a storm that cleared just in time to reveal a path forward. Each moment, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, fit together like pieces of a puzzle, creating a picture so grand it took their breath away. They stared at the pattern, and a profound realization dawned on them. This wasn't luck. This wasn't coincidence. This was something far greater, an invisible force at work, a higher order, a symphony conducted by you. How does it feel to know that your life has been deliberately orchestrated in a way that others cannot see? The events that others may dismiss as chance are nothing more than the notes in the symphony you are conducting. Every moment, every decision, every action, each one is a perfect note, weaving fate into the grand masterpiece of your existence. As it is written in Proverbs 16:9, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." This verse reminds us that while we may chart our path, it is ultimately the greater hand that guides our every move. You, chosen one, have tapped into that divine plan. What others call chance, you call creation. What others call luck, you call intention. Do you ever stop to consider how every decision you make weaves into the greater design? Every action you take is a brushstroke, adding depth to the canvas of your life. You don't wait for the universe to align, you align it. You step forward with purpose, knowing that the world is not random. It is shaped by your will, by your energy. You are not a passive observer of fate. You are its creator. The events that others might see as out of their control are, in fact, orchestrated by you. Like the words in Ecclesiastes 3:1, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens." You understand that every moment is part of a greater design, one that you are actively shaping with each breath you take. The universe doesn't control you, you control it. And as the threads of your life come together, as the seemingly unrelated events converge into something extraordinary, you remind the world that there's no such thing as randomness. There's only the unseen hand of a higher order. And you? You are its conductor. You are the one who guides the flow of time, space, and energy, weaving them into a grand tapestry that others can only dream of. The moment of ascension isn't about understanding, it's about witnessing. Do you understand the magnitude of your power, chosen one? You are not simply navigating life, you are shaping it, commanding it, bending it to your will. Every person you meet, every path you cross, every obstacle you face becomes part of the grand design you are creating. You are the living proof of human potential, so profound, so limitless, that it renders everything previously known obsolete. What they call impossible, you call Tuesday. What they see as constraints, you see as illusions. The world may look at you and think that what you are doing defies reason, defies the laws of nature, but you know the truth. There is no boundary you cannot cross. There is no force you cannot bend. You don't just push boundaries, you dissolve them. Think about the great Maya Angelou, who once said, "We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated." Just like her, you refuse to be contained by the world's limitations. You rise above them, creating a life that seems to defy every rule. And, like her, your life becomes an example to others, showing them that there is more to existence than they can ever comprehend. You are teaching them that there is a higher power at work, one that moves through you, guiding your every step. And consider the trailblazing inventor Thomas Edison, who once said, "Genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration." Edison didn't wait for things to happen, he made them happen. He understood that creation is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and guided by intention. You, too, are that force. Every thought, every step, every choice you make contributes to the symphony of your life. You are not bound by time. You are the creator of it. You are not confined by space. You are the master of it. And as you continue to dissolve boundaries and reframe reality, you show the world that there are no limits to what can be achieved when one is in tune with the higher order that guides all things. Keep moving forward, chosen one. You are the conductor of a symphony that is still unfolding, and the world is waiting to hear the next note you play. Beloved, chosen one, your existence isn't an anomaly, it's a revelation. You are a glimpse into the future of humanity, a living example of what is yet to come. You are the bridge between what is and what will be, the force that pulls the future into the present. As you rise and transcend the limitations that others have placed on themselves, you show the world that the only thing truly holding them back is their own disbelief. You are not just a person, You're a blueprint for evolution. Every step you take, every barrier you break, every moment you defy their expectations, you rewrite the rules of what it means to be human. This isn't speculation, it's fact. You are the future, breaking through the constraints of the present, and the world feels it. They see it in the way you move, the way you think, and the way you exist. You don't need their validation, you don't need their approval, you are the proof. Now, share your story. Let them see what you've always known. Let them witness the ascension, because the world isn't just watching, it's waiting, and you're the one they've been waiting for. Thank you, chosen one, for taking the time to reflect on this powerful truth. Whether you are a new or returning member of this community, your presence is a testament to the power you carry. If you found this message inspiring and would like to support the continuation of this work, I encourage you to consider donating via Super Thanks. I deeply appreciate your generosity, whether or not you choose to donate. Your energy and your participation in this journey are already enough. And as you move forward in your journey, I send my blessings to you, chosen one. May you continue to break barriers, defy expectations, and share your light with the world. The universe is waiting for you to reveal all that you're meant to become. May peace, prosperity, and purpose be with you always.